Yeah, I don't know. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We are officially ready to begin. I want to, first order of business is approval for the minutes. We have two meetings that we have yet to approve the meeting minutes. October 30th, the meeting minutes, and December 4th, the meeting minutes. If anyone wants to read them, but I'll read them out here. Also, just need someone to move to approve the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Second. All right.
All in favor? Or do we have to all in favor?
Everybody agree?
Yay!
All right.
Where do they work?
Meeting minutes are approved. We have a lot to cover tonight, so I will try and keep this moving along. We've got a lot of exciting things to cover tonight, I should say. So one of the first things that I do want to just bring up again is we posted on the website all the 2023 donors who have made 2023, 2024 too, a wonderful, productive, eventful year. So if you have not gone on our website, please do. Everyone is listed. If for some reason someone notices that their name is not on there and they did donate to Friends of Madison Park, that could be donation in time, donation in kind, and also a lot of wonderful financial donations. If you're not on there, and we missed you, please let us know and we will get it corrected right away.
What happened to the ornaments on the trees?
I have them at home. If you would like yours.
Are you going to use them again, or
Well,
what?
I think we potentially may next
Okay.
year. I mean, presumably the tree lights will stay on, stay glowing, no hiccups throughout 2024. We may need to replace some lines. We have a maintenance contract with a lighting company to check on them and make changes if need be throughout the year. If we have another capital campaign, we will put them back up. They did start to fade pretty quickly.
The ornaments?
Yes.
Okay.
They're all intact, but if we need to, we can repaint them and put them back up, or we've talked about if we put them in a different color or whatever, but they are all intact.
So, can we get them then? Is that what you're saying?
You can.
Okay. But I mean, would you use them again?
We'll use them if people don't want them. If you.
Just as a template, you just paint them and
Yes.
print them again?
Yeah. But just for everyone who did donate, it was just we had well over 200 people who individually or as a family donated. We had over 50 businesses who donated. We had the board and committee members who not only often donated money, but also donated a tremendous amount of their time. So, and volunteers on different events as well. So everyone did very well.
I was thinking, since we already have those,
Yes.
maybe there's an event next fall-ish, coming close to the holiday season, where we have those at an event and just say, would you like to donate, because we can put your name on it. I mean, that could be like an ask and maybe get a quick return on that, and
So-
not just have them sitting in a box.
They're sitting in a box right now. I mean, we should run this all by Ann Woodford, who was so
Okay.
kind to do every, person's name on that, and it took her a lot of time, and every single one was painted both sides by Ann, and then also signed. She's not here for me to say thank you, she'll come eventually. So, but, I mean, I love the idea. It's, yes, waste not, want not, right?
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully be able to use them again, and if, I did not put that out there, if individuals would like to get their ornament, we can certainly make them available.
It'd be nice to get it for us to have, and then give it back to you when it's time for next year.
Okay. Why
We
not?
may die.
I also, I also want to acknowledge that we have our business directory is now up to date. There have been a number of new businesses that have come into the community. Denali is now gone, but Transform, I'm gonna say this, Training Transform 180 has now moved into that space, and that is one of several new businesses. There is a new yoga studio here, there is a new Pilates studio here, there is an acupuncturist and a massage therapist, and they may feel like they're tucked away, but at one of our meetings, I'm hoping in March, we're gonna have people who are, kind of in smaller offices or studios come there's a lot of health and good living options down here now. So, and it'd be really nice for the community to get to meet them. So anyway, the business directory has just been updated. The latest profile just got posted yesterday. Bamboo Thai in mine is the featured person on our business profile. So take a look at that. So I want to also talk about subscriptions. We do, these are all on, these meetings are on YouTube. Is it doing tonight too? Okay. Something. Oh, okay. They're on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and click like, is that? Subscribe. Then if we get 50 people signing up, subscribing, then we can live stream them. So it's very easy to just go on this, it's on Friends of Madison.
Friends of Madison Park.
Thank you, Kim.
Any one of the videos of the channel itself, just hit subscribe. We've got 22 subscribers right now, we're almost halfway there, then we can live stream these meetings out to the community.
Because that has been requested, especially for some of the businesses, they leave early, and so they're not here for the meeting, or they're closed on Monday, and it would be really nice if we were able to make it accessible as it's going on.
You might mention that in your next newsletter from Friends of Madison Park about subscribing to that, how that would be helpful for us and for everything else.
Yes,
Because we don't know about that, and, unless you look at that
I will do
website.
that. Did I do that on the last one? I can't remember.
Didn't see it. If you did, I
Yes,
didn't see it.
well, I may not have, but I will. So the other thing is actually subscribing to the newsletter. If you go on our website, there is a distinct place to subscribe for the newsletter. That's really helpful because then you get the information, you get reminded almost once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, of what's going on in the neighborhood. And we sort of highlight, if we're looking for volunteers, we highlight events, we highlight the business profile. All of that comes to you and kind of prompts you to, if you want to donate, where to click and donate. But it gets more people visiting the website in general. So I would really encourage people to subscribe to the newsletter. If you go on the website, it's very simple, it's on the home page. The other thing I would really encourage people to do is to become monthly subscribers to Friends of Madison Park. Again, that's a really, hopefully straightforward, simple system, and that you can go on the website, you can do it from the home page at the bottom of the page, or you can go to the donate section, and you can subscribe at 10 or 15, 25, $30 a month. And that way it's on auto pay, and that way it gives us a continual, easy stream of funding for events that we are planning. So our hope is in 2024, we're going to get more just monthly subscribers, so we can have more people not only donating, but also being tuned into what's going on in the community. I do want to also talk about our monthly meeting, I used the wrong term, our neighborhood meetings. We have a little bit different cadence that is going to go on this year for our neighborhood meetings. So we have 2 months on for meetings and 1 month off. And we're gonna try that this year and see how it works. And the reason we chose to do that is the February meeting ends up running into midwinter break when so many people are out of town with their families for their kids' break. So we won't have a meeting in February, but we will have a meeting the last Monday of March, the last Monday of April, the last Monday of May, ends up on Memorial Day weekend. Again, we decided to pause having a meeting that week, that Monday. Same thing, June, July, June, July, and we will have meetings in August. That runs right into Labor Day weekend. We will not. We are trying to post this schedule. It's on the bulletin board by the pharmacy. It's on the A boards that are on the sidewalk. It's in the, on the website. We'll put it in the newsletter. It will be in the Madison Park Times when it comes out in a few days as well.
How many of the A-boards are there on the sidewalk?
There, right now, there are 3 on the main sidewalk. There is one down by Arboretum Court, and there's one right in front of the building. And they sometimes have different information on it, but, for example, tonight's meeting is posted. So the other thing is volunteers. So, I have with me, and we did this the last meeting, I've got a clipboard that has a list of all the different events we are planning on for 2024, and all the different positions events that we're looking for volunteers, either events or projects. I'd like to pass that around like we did the last meeting. If you're interested in being involved in one of these events, that would be huge for us. We have posted on the website a big banner right in the middle of the homepage, 2024, the year to volunteer, to click on, and if you don't do it tonight, you can look on the website. It tells you each event, what the event is, what's involved, and how many volunteers we need. So that you can click on there to volunteer for something, and it will come to us, and we'll know about it. But I'm gonna start with the old-fashioned way, the clipboard and pieces of paper, and pass it around. And Josh, you lucky guy, start with you.
Sign my name.
Yeah. Josh is in charge of the farmer's market, so I'm not expecting him to sign up for a lot more. But it is really important for us. We have the different committees, the different events where people will come up and tell you a little bit more about what's coming up and what they need. I will say one of the ones that we really need as soon as we can is someone to help us run the children's parade and picnic this year. Elizabeth, who did an amazing job last year of running that event, has had to have surgery for a broken foot and just so much going on that she wanted to step away, understandably, this year. So I'm looking for someone to lead the charge on the children's parade and picnic. She did such an amazing job. We know every piece of everything that we have to do for that. She's made it quite clear. So if someone is willing to step up for that one, we are definitely looking for help on that one. Let's see. Diane is our treasurer, and hopefully she'll be here before too long to give us our financial report. So I could go through every one of the events, but we have enough going on tonight that I think what I will do is I want to introduce 2 speakers that we have from outside Friends of Madison Park. During the Christmas season, the holiday season, we paired with the Red Wagon to do toy donations. And through them, new to me, but not new to Seattle, we met Wellspring Family Services. And we ended up having a number of bins around the neighborhood to collect toys for children for the holidays. And I then went down to Wellspring to deliver the bins and met one of our speakers tonight, Tom Murray, who introduced me to what Wellspring Family Services does. And we had, and it's remarkable, and we are now pairing with them for other donations. We just did the toy drive, the toy swap up at McGilda Elementary School, and they were gladly took a number of the items that were left, good books, puzzles, children's clothing, and brought them to Wellspring. And I'd like Tom to come up and introduce himself and tell the community about what Wellspring does.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Good to see you again, and it was great to get to know Tavia over the last few weeks and have her come down and be part of your group through the toy swap, 20 book swap a few weeks ago now, and then the tree lighting and the toy donations. As Octavia said, this kind of germinated from our relationship with Red Wagon Toys. I think through their previous owner and now through Georgina there. In fact, I just picked up some toys there about 2 hours ago. My truck is full of more toys. And it started off them holding bins, having our collection bins for toys in the store during the holidays, but now it's year-round. Many of you have probably already been in there, and thank you for stopping by if you have and purchasing some items and those toys, and I'll explain a little bit about what happens with items like that. But so really appreciate the opportunity to get to put a face to our organization, a face to a name, and to meet you, and happy to, and I've got some information in the back as well. But so Wellspring Family Services, we're right up on Rainier Avenue. We're about where Rainier and 23rd meet. We've been in that building for about, I don't know, 12 years, I guess, something like that. But Wellspring's been around for about 130 years in Seattle. We've been called different things. Before we were called Wellspring, we were called Family Services of King County, if that rings a bell, Seattle, King County. But our mission is, our kind of our approaches have changed over the years, and our mission a little bit, but essentially it's helping one thing that's not changed is helping families struggling with whatever essential needs, kind of being a safety net for families facing crisis. Our mission today is ending family homelessness for good. So there's no secret there's a housing crisis in Seattle. I mean, a lot of the attention is on encampments, which are obviously, typically adults who are chronically homeless. It's actually a much larger segment of homeless population, and that's families, because they are unseen. They might not be in typically children. You don't see children in encampments as much as you would, say, in other situations. But families are they're couch surfing. Children are couch surfing. They might be in cars. They might be sheltered. They actually may have homes. Actually, many have homes and are working, but it's the working poor. So it's really that kind of that unseen, more invisible segment of the homeless population that we work to address. And our secret weapon is prevention. That's although we do help people find shelters if they are unhoused, we do help them find housing. But if they are housed, we try to keep them there if we can. And the biggest reason that families fall into homelessness is not addiction, it's not mental health problems, it's not even job loss. It's actually living paycheck to paycheck and having to deal with an unexpected expense. It could be a car repair, medical bill, what have you. So, people have to make sometimes impossible choices between between rent and food and doctor bill or what have you. So what we try to do is through our program, three kind of main programs, what we call community service or family programs, and then a couple of programs for employers. The three family programs are housing services. While we don't run housing, we're not landlords, we don't build or manage housing. We have a team of stability specialists, caseworkers, case managers that help families to deal with their issues, whatever it might be. If they are housed, we want to keep them there. So we can negotiate with landlords, we can do financial coaching, what have you, to help people gain stability. Or help pay, or we can also help pay a bill, a utility bill, a rent bill, move-in costs, what have you. So that team does that. The other program that we have on site at our building is our Early Learning Center. It's a preschool for ages 1 to 5 for families children of families who are experiencing or facing homelessness. It's free, scholarship. It's because of the generosity of our donors and some of the contracts we have with government agencies, we're able to provide that full-time preschool. It's not just an educational environment, it's an environment for children who dealing with the trauma of being in poverty or broken homes or just the instability, just helping their social and emotional needs. So we're very proud of that. The only program of its kind in the state of Washington, full-time for homeless children. And the other family service program, and where the toys and books go, is our family store. We used to call it the Baby Boutique, it's now called the Wellspring Family Store. It's in our building. So we take donations from the community or businesses of children's items, diapers, clothing, shoes, books, toys, things like that. We don't take furniture or appliances, things like that, but so we actually process those and we distribute those free of charge to families, really no barrier. We don't ask for any, paperwork, anything like that. So it's, again, another kind of another burden that sometimes families don't need to deal with, diapers especially, which is an item of greatest demand and probably one of the more expensive things. So the family store, so these items that you help collect and donate will be distributed through our family store. We just did our big holiday drive. We served about 1,500 children through our holiday drive. And real quickly, the other two programs we have are through with employers. Employers can actually hire us to be an employee assistance program. If you've ever been in HR, you're familiar with the APs. But it helps people who are working with whatever needs. It could be financial coaching. It could be direct, helping them navigate legal help or get counseling. So our EAP is a service that actually helps people who may be in crisis or struggling with something, if they are working, no matter what their income level, deal with some of these issues. So there's a spin-off of this coming called the Employee Stability Program, ESP, that's going to help people who are EAP clients of ours that maybe are more in more dire straits. So we can maybe match them with our housing services to help them. So that's a little bit more about Wellspring. Because if you want to come tour, you want to come volunteer, and there will probably be more discussions about projects to work on together. Many ways to help. Happy to host you for a tour, what have you.
How do families find you?
A variety of ways. One way is through the 211 system, which is kind of run by Crisis Connection. It's like a phone number people can dial that kind of triages whatever needs they have, whether that's housing, whether that's food, or so that's one way. The other is we're just well networked in the human services, social services community.
So then they refer that family to you?
Yeah. Then we do for the housing program and the Early Learning Center. We'll do like an intake process, things like that. For the family store, we don't ask. We used to say, are you homeless? Are you referred by a caseworker from somebody else? but we don't do that. We stopped doing that when COVID started, when the needs skyrocketed. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So the other person who is so closely attached to Madison Park is in Madison Valley. A couple of months ago, I guess it was, I went to the MLK Day Center, which used to be the MLK Elementary School many years ago. And I met Bert Williams, who is the director of the center, and it's a little hidden gem in a lot of ways. I think people in Madison Park don't necessarily know about the center and what they offer. We've also been meeting a little bit more with Bert because we're going to do our second chance prom at the MLK Main Center, Community Center. So, which everybody should come to. It's such a fun space. Anyway, so I asked Bert to also come and introduce the MLK Center and also to tell about some of the programs that they have there.
I'm so happy to be in front of you guys. Second chance prom, that's really cool. I skipped my prom. We didn't like the entertainment or something. I don't know where my head was at. But I'd like a second chance at that. But be with my wife, of course. But again, I'm Bert Williams, executive director down there. And, hopefully some of you know a little bit about the center. But we're a nonprofit 501c3, founded by some distinguished members of the First African Methodist Episcopal Church in Seattle. How many of you are familiar with that church? We were CHOP headquarters. How about that? We were the center of the world during all the Black Lives Matter stuff. But she just talked about this. They got together with the vision of transforming the MLK Elementary School, which used to be old Harrison School back in the day. I don't know, some of your old schoolers probably remember that. Here in the heart of the Central District here. But what we do is we provide this converted event space into affordable venues for rentals, for performing arts events, youth groups, and office spaces to everybody. We do focus on BIPOC communities, but we have everybody that's a part of that. Our mission is just to promote social, economic, community, and cultural services for everybody in Seattle, no matter your age, your race, your ethnicity, or your culture preference, right? And we're in a decades-old building, so there's some challenges there. We operate, I'll be all over the place, but we operate on grants and fundraisers, rentals, and leases. And we have a lot of community partners, including Black Star Farmers, who manages we have a community garden, and so they manage our community garden. Black Star Line's an African-centered family educational collective. I'll touch on some of them. Girls Rock Math, we have a math concern in there to make math interesting to everybody. Steel Pan Project is housed there. You can learn how to play steel pan. You can learn how to play, you're right. You want to learn how to play steel pan.
I don't want to go learn how
I got to be honest with you, the Madison Valley neighbors aren't everybody's not so thrilled with that. That's another issue. We have a long-time resident. Richard Rhodes is an internationally known large stone sculptor who's been housed there forever. So is one. We have a quilt, an expert quilt maker from out of the University of Washington, uses these unbelievable techniques. And we have a lot of, we have a dance studio, we have a gym, and right now we're affiliated with a prep academy who's got elite basketball programs. The Shattered Glass Project, a theater company that Their mission is, I'll just read it, to amplify the voice of theater artists who have been marginalized on the basis of their gender or sex. The Bailey Boucher House, we partner with them, we do a lot of things. We have the Ethnic Heritage Council, which I'm on the board, that is housed there as well. We have the event spaces that we have a community room, we have a conference room, we have a huge auditorium, that's where the Second Chance is. And there's all gonna be renovated with a grant that we just got from the city of Seattle for culture. So we're really pleased about that. The other thing that's really important about our facility is that we are a city of Seattle emergency hub now. So I'm getting to know a lot of folks here in the Madison Valley. We've had urban survival skills events there. We had the open house there. So when something happens, there's a good chance that I might see some of you there. And we plan on enhancing that relationship. We've had a lot of events, big events recently. Of course, the Save Madison Park event. I think that was the name of it. I don't know if any of you guys attended that, but that was quite the event. It was quite the event. They told us it was going to be about 75 people, and there were 600. or more. And every news station on the planet was there. But that was a remarkable event. Joy Hollingsworth campaign kickoff was there. I was there at campaign night. There was jumping in right there. Yeah. All right, that's right. You're the pickle guy. We're gonna get you pickleball. Pickleball over there at our place. But yeah. So we have indoor soccer. We have the coolest thing that just happened. I just saw that we got indoor dodgeball. Right? Dodgeball. We used to call it soaking back in the day. But I gave you kind of an overview. I could talk about it all day long. We have a board of some of the distinguished members that founded our center are on the board, and I was our board member and became executive board member. So we only have I'm paid, and I only I'm only supposed to work part-time for the nonprofit work and stuff. I'm a retired Boeing engineering leader, so I tell people it's more difficult to fix a leaking roof than it is to design an interior of a 737. You find that out, and so we're pleased to be in front of you. And so, think about us when you have your events. You're already thinking about Second Chance Prom. Come on down. I give you a view. You can take you out to the garden. You can come and shoot some baskets, and you can look at our facility and see how it might meet some of your individual events. We host a lot of events, birthday parties, and other things like that. So I think you guys, we could develop a really nice relationship, right? Okay. Any questions? I was all over the place. I even had a presentation, but I think I'm taking my time.
There's a question.
Yeah, just
Yes,
one,
ma'am.
so you mentioned having indoor soccer,
Yes.
basketball, things like that. Are those like rentals that individual groups rent out?
They're and I thank you. You're a good introduction. I've got some rental agreements here. I'm going to leave them with you, so you guys can see the rates. I'll just leave a couple. And I can send them electronically as well, but I thought I'd bring a couple of copies. But yes, the groups rent by the hour. We have special rates. When we acquired MLK Center, the state and city required us to give special rates for some rooms and free rates for youth programs during the day. So you come there during the day, and if it's open, you can get it for free. And same with the auditorium as well. And again, I can't emphasize that our event spaces will be renovated with a grant that we just recently got, and so they'll even be more attractive. And we have some really nice events. Yes, ma'am.
How do you find out what events? There's an online,
Or
what's happening?
Well, you're gonna have to call me, so I'm the
That doesn't sound
online,
efficient.
I'm the, you're gonna call, but we do have, we have a website. Right now, I'm the website designer. And right now, I'm the Facebook manager as well. So I do a lot of things, and just before I came up here, I was mopping up some oil on the floor that I didn't know where it came from. So I had to do a lot of things. But yes, ma'am.
You didn't mention Jazz Ed. Is
Jazz Ed was there for years.
Yeah.
And they're in a new space.
Oh, they are part of it?
Yeah, they're in a new space. We lost them, but still stay in contact with them. But see, steel pan. You want to play? You love the steel pan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
This is
much.
great. So, we probably want to move on and do some of the committee reports. Let people know what's coming up and what we need volunteers for, where we're headed with certain things. So, Becky, I've got you number one on the Easter egg hunt. If you want to come up and tell what's going on with the Easter egg hunt.
Hi, I'm Becky. I am heading up the 2024 Easter egg hunt on March 30th, so mark your calendars. It should be really cute, I hope. I've never done this before, so this is a learning experience for me. We are looking for volunteers though, especially day of volunteers, but also if you've ever hosted an Easter egg hunt before and you have some excellent tips for me, please let me know. I would really appreciate that. So far, it's all gonna be a free event for the community. We're not doing any RSVPs, no tickets, nothing, everything is free. We're gonna have the Easter egg hunt, of course. We're planning to divide it into 3 different sections. Littlest kids in one section, maybe on the tennis courts. The next age kids in the grass, and then we'll make it a little harder for the older kids on the playground. We're gonna have some crafts, because that all takes 3 minutes for the kids to find all their eggs. I'm getting lots of eggs, so hopefully they'll take them a little bit longer, but it'll go by fast. We're gonna have some entertainment. We're gonna have a children's musician. Well, he's a musician, and he's gonna do some children's music. He's not just a children's musician. He's a good friend of mine. He's really talented. He's gonna do probably about 30 to 45 minutes of music, so that should be really fun. We are having face painting. That is locked down, because that was really popular at the children's parade. So that's, we're using Hoopla. I think they were the ones they used there before. We're planning some games, maybe some spoon races, because it is an Easter egg hunt, maybe some sack races, hula hoops. If anybody has hula hoops that we can borrow, I'll take them. We are hopefully gonna have an Easter bunny. I've asked Georgina at Red Wagon if we can borrow their Easter bunny. It is one of their employees. I was like, how did you find an Easter bunny? She called me back, she's like, it's actually an employee, so I'm waiting to hear back from her on whether we can borrow that person or offer them compensation to do that for us. We're gonna have some food. I've been reaching out to local businesses about that. It's slow going, but we're working on it. We're hoping to have some maybe breakfasty items, like some muffins, bagels, things like that, and coffee and maybe hot chocolate, and hoping for really good weather. So
You said the date and the time?
Yes, March 30th. It'll go from 10 to 12. And then some crafts, just stuff to entertain the kids. It should be a good time. So again, if you're interested in volunteering, please just let me know. You might have gotten an email from me reminding you to come to this tonight so that we could meet. I'm sorry if I'm bothering you with that, but yeah,
great.
I think that's everything.
Next up is Second Chance Prom. We've already heard a little bit about it happening, but come up
You do
and tell
have
where we are now.
Hi, I'm Grace. And this is
Marianne.
Marianne. We are your co-chairs of the development committee. So Second Chance Prom, this was an idea that was kind of born of something that I saw my parents do when I was a lot younger. My adoptive father is my stepfather who adopted us, but anyway, he and my mom got married after my sisters and I were almost teenagers. My mom didn't go to her prom. Somebody around here mentioned they didn't go to theirs either. But obviously, the opportunity to go to this, she was really stoked about. And so when I saw this happen, and obviously having grown up and then moved to Seattle. A lot of people in our community maybe didn't get to go to prom with the person they wanted to go with, or as the person they are today, fully themselves. But even just a lot of us who did go to our prom in the very traditional way are now with somebody who we would much rather go to a formal event with than our high school friend. You were like that for. So this was something that we thought would be fun to put on for the community. We also do a lot of kids and family focused events. So one thing that we wanted for this was for it to be very focused on the adults in our community. So with that, it is going to be a 21 plus event. We're working out the details of having a cash bar. It's looking like it's going to work out pretty well. Thank you, Bert, for allowing us to do that in your space. But we have been meeting for the past month or so now to start really hammering out the details. I'll let you start talking. You want to share some of what we've got going on?
Sure, yeah. So we went through multiple different theme ideas, and in an effort to be multi-generational per our mission statement, we are going with a walk in the clouds as our theme. So in recruiting volunteers to decorate. So if you have any sort of creative vision in mind, we've got a few ideas started, and but would love, the more the merrier. It is a large gym that fits 364 people in it, so the more the merrier. We'll support there. It will be on May 11th, and we're still finalizing the ticket price based on a couple things, but that should be finalized in the next week or so. So we're aiming for anywhere from $50 to $75 per ticket, and we intend to start selling those on March 1st.
One thing I will say, and a great segue with talking about volunteers and the tickets, I think we can pretty confidently say that anybody who signs up to volunteer, what I'm thinking is probably 2 hours per ticket. So for people who maybe either don't, they can't afford 50, or they just, they can give their time and they'd rather not pay for a ticket. If you'd like to, you and your date, or you can sign up for 4 hours of volunteering and get tickets for you and your date. But we are gonna need some help with setup and with teardown, and then during the event, maybe less. I think most of us will probably handle that just as we see things in spot clean, but with setup, and then especially with teardown for any of you night owls who maybe will be in the giving spirit after the bar at the event, who want to help us out with tearing down decorations. That'd be great.
And then if we're also trying to centralize the list of available babysitters, just to make everybody's life easier. So if you know people that would be interested in being a babysitter or are babysitters that you are willing to volunteer, aka not the one you will be using, just send them our way, so we can get a repository for everybody so they can actually enjoy their full night out.
What about a band? Oh, great question. Thank you. Yes, so as far as entertainment goes, we are looking into live band options. So we are going full cheesy with this. If the Walk in the Clouds theme hadn't given that away. But it's going to be very like high school prom classic, and the auditorium is perfect for it. It's the whole space is just the exact vibe we want, and so we definitely want to have a band. Maybe in some cute formal powder blue suits or something if we can swing it. And then for in between when the band is playing, we'll also have a DJ. So we'll have kind of a mix of some live music and then some pre-recorded classics that we have to hear at prom.
And we are, of course, pursuing a photographer with cheesy backdrops.
Yes, that too. Yeah, we're gonna try to do
Get their
immediate
couples photos
with
in their
Santa.
formal wear.
So it can just be the immediate, if anybody came for the photos with Santa, you came, you got in line, you took your photo, they printed it out and handed it to
They
you.
don't promise too much.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do that, we're not sure if we can, but that's the goal, so we
The
don't
goal
have to
is
try.
full camp, so any volunteers, we want
Yes.
all people on board here.
And if you have ideas, shoot them our way, we're happy to hear, any thoughts you may have. Any questions about prom?
Do all men have to wear tux?
Great question. You don't have to wear a tux. I would say that, I would treat it as a black tie event. I don't know that necessarily a tux, but certainly formal wear to semi-formal. So a suit would probably be okay as well. It is gonna be relatively summertime. It'll be before like Memorial Day, but still, it's May. So, a lighter colored suit I think would be totally acceptable as well. Don't feel like you need to buy or rent anything super formal. For the dress wearers among us, if you'd prefer, a cocktail dress, mid-thigh knee length to a formal ball gown would be totally fine for the event. One thing, I'm glad you brought that up, though, that I will call out for anybody here, or if you're gonna spread the word about this to your friends, with this being in May at Classic Prom season, anybody who needs to rent a suit will be competing with high schoolers at all of the rental places. So think about that and get those rental requests in early, so you make sure that you're not stuck wearing your jammies to prom. All right, thanks everybody.
So Josh is gonna tell us about where we are with the farmer's market.
Hi everybody, my name is Josh Mason. I'm working on the farmer's market. Got a number of updates for you guys and some next steps. So Octavia and I have been doing a lot of different reconnaissance and meeting with lots of different groups. Octavia has been absolutely instrumental in getting some good meetings together. We've met with the Washington State Farmers Market Board's president and a couple other farmers markets associations to just ask questions and figure out the logistics of what does it take to bring a farmers market. I've learned so much about farmers markets than I ever thought I would ever learn in my life, but it's quite a complicated endeavor, and there's a lot of financial components to this. There's a lot of permitting components, and so one of the things that we're pursuing is partnering with an existing Seattle Farmers Market Association in collaboration with Friends of Madison Park, so that we can help connect them with some of the businesses, with the streets, and figuring out some action items tonight for surveys and community support for those of you that want to see something like that brought here. And so where we've kind of landed is through those meetings, the kind of date and time that's been ideally identified would be starting in June, weekly on Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. And so that aligns with the Music in the Park in August, which is kind of a great segue. And the location that we're looking at is between 43rd and Howe. So if everybody knows where you kind of turn right there at the park, you have How to Cook a Wolf just past that, blocking off that street. That's kind of the main drag. But when it comes to finding a location that's going to draw a lot of people in and make it easy to find, that's kind of been the recommended one. We've been meeting and talking with the different businesses to get the engagement, and so that's an ongoing conversation, right? Some people are really excited, some people have some questions, and thankfully with the folks that we've been meeting with, they have a lot of experience in working with businesses and coming up with creative solutions. For those of us that have been to farmers markets in Seattle, we know that parking is always a challenge, and so that's something that we will have to deal with, but we think there's a lot of great benefits to having all here. And so what we can use from you all is, in order to get some of that support from the local farmers markets, we need to make sure that we can communicate there is a desire from the community to have that here. And so what I'm going to pass around is not a volunteer sign up, because I know we've been asking those, but it's merely to say whether you would be interested in having a farmers market here, and if you would be willing to shop at a farmers market, and then your name and zip code. Those are the kind of 4 main pieces that we need to communicate with our partners. So I will pass that around. Any questions?
Just one. You said 43rd and Howe, kind of where the loop. Are you thinking the one way that's westbound away from the beach?
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. But blocking like right at McGillivray, because we wouldn't want to block any of the bus
Right, leaving
lanes.
43rd.
The bus lanes make it very complicated as well.
Yeah.
Where to find a place that doesn't intersect with them. Yeah.
So if I know my wife would like it, can I put both our names down?
Sure. Absolutely.
Is this to start potentially this June?
That is what we were pushing for. There's a lot of hurdles to come through to get there. And so getting as much support as we can. We'll also do a Google form for names and support. So if you have neighbors, friends, anybody that wants to see a farmer's market come into the community, we need as many voices as we can to say that that's something we'd like. I know we're tight on time, but if you guys have any questions, we have an email address, farmersmarket@friendsofmadison.com. All right. Thank you, guys.
As I say, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the neighborhood. Kip is going to tell us about the garden tour that is coming up in May.
Okay, my name's Kip White, and I am actually working with Octavia on putting together a garden tour, which is going to be the week after the prom. So after you go and dance, a week later you can walk it off. Come and join us on the garden tour. So where we're standing so far, and the overall concept is to do a garden tour and keep it on kind of the flat part of Madison Park, So I think the furthest house we have is about 38 or so. We're not going up into Washington Park this year. We have 12 homes that have agreed to be part of the tour, and we're trying to group them, 3 or 4 homes over here, over there, over there. I think the longest distance from the furthest houses, the longest distance is less than a mile, so it would be easier for people to do it. We may be adding a couple more houses to it, because we have some people that still kind of say, yeah, we're kind of on the fence, and so we'll get them to join us. So the plan is to have the garden tour on the 18th. We'll be having the sales here at the boathouse is kind of our plan. It'll go from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock. The biggest thing we need are people to volunteer. We think that maybe for every house, it might help to have 2 people, someone to add, to just kind of keep an eye on things, and maybe someone that's a little knowledgeable about the garden, and we're working on getting the details of every garden. So that when people come through, if they have a question, you may have an answer for them, so. Anything else would I need to add to that?
No, I think we're good.
Great, thanks.
Could you just remind me of the date again?
The 18th, May 18th,
May 18th.
10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We're praying for good weather, garden should look great. We're praying that, that we don't have.
There is a
that
ticket
left
price, I guess we should talk
Pardon me?
about that, the ticket price.
Oh, $20. We're looking at $20. Octavia's actually been involved or knows people that have done a lot of other garden tours, so we're gleaning information from them. We think $20 is gonna be the sweet spot where we can get a lot of people to come. So we need volunteers, if you need them. I don't think we have anything on the website, but, well, we do have the volunteer.
There's this little sheet going.
And on the sheet,
So-
yeah. Yeah. So, and if you're not interested, you may have a neighbor, you may have a friend that's like, oh, I'd like to garden. We'd love to have them, so. Who knows anything about gardens? Thanks.
I'd like to do the Claire and Pam public safety, kind of what's been going on, what we're looking to bring block watches. We've had a meeting with the mayor's office, and we had a few things going on here recently, so if you guys would come up and talk about public safety and what's going on.
And forgive us, Claire and I haven't had an opportunity to meet in ages, so we don't actually know what each other is talking about, but you wanna go first?
Yeah, so Octavia and I met with a representative from the mayor's office a couple weeks ago. We touched on a lot of things, the community center, a few things around the neighborhood. Kind of the main thing that we're trying to get done right now is getting this dock right over here all cleaned up. There's tons of graffiti and damage to it right now. So we've got some contacts through them to hopefully get that cleaned up. They also called out what's the app called? Fix It?
Find It, Fix It.
Find It, Fix It app. So she just wanted us to make sure that we're communicating to the community to use that app. It sounds like it's a pretty effective system that they have for broken street lamps, for unhoused people, for just anything you might come across in the neighborhood that you want to get in contact with the city to resolve.
Yeah, I used Find It, Fix It last year for one of the streetlights on the main drag here. I just noticed it was out and kind of stood there doing nothing and being frustrated for like a month and was like, oh wait, no one's actually gonna fix this if I don't take action. And so I used the Find It, Fix It app, and it was just like, picture, this is where the streetlight is, it's out, go. And like 3 days later, I came down here and the streetlight was on, so it's super effective.
I would say sometimes it takes them up a week or 2 or 3 times to do it, because when I cut brush along the waterfront, put them on the sidewalk, it sometimes takes 2 or 3 responses to them to pick it up, but they'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
Be persistent.
Yeah.
We also talked a little bit about setting up a block watch system for the neighborhood, and we're gonna be meeting with another contact through the city sometime in the next couple weeks to kind of get the ball rolling on that.
No, we already have one. I mean, my
We
neighbor
might
has,
have in the
my neighbor has a
past.
sign like this that says, I'm on the neighborhood watch.
Lawn Watches as a program to run literally block by block, so you may.
Okay.
But I think we're hoping to get something a little bit more cohesive going for the entire neighborhood. So
Yeah,
we're
the
not,
other neighbor last week was like, Yeah, they were stealing catalytic converters last year. We caught them. I'm on the neighborhood watch. I was like, okay.
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool, yeah, I know, there's some other cool ideas floating around out there that we haven't taken a lot of steps on yet, but, the idea of like getting some lights in the park so that kids can use the park a little bit later, any kind of security improvement we can do to this corner right here, especially in the summer, families are always crossing through there, and you get people the wrong way down here, sipping around there. It's dangerous, so we're talking about some of that as well. I also wanted just to update the community on the like loud unhoused person that we had in the neighborhood over the past week. If people witnessed that person doing like the loud laughter, or being kind of destructive around the neighborhood, that was something that we had our eyes on all last week, and worked with SPD and King County Mobile Crisis Unit, thank you, to try to get that individual some help, but also, of course, to address concerns in the community because she was being pretty destructive. Happy to report we did get that person some help. They were taken to the hospital. Unhappy to report that that was because they didn't become violent physically with another person. I just wanted to take this opportunity to reiterate, because a lot of people were asking, what are we doing, coming to us, and kind of doing that same thing that I did with the street light with Find It, Fix It, where they were like, hey, this is going on, what do? And ultimately, I just wanted to reiterate again, when you're having an issue or a concern like that, if it's not dangerous, Find It, Fix It is a great opportunity. If it is dangerous or it's getting destructive, calling 911 really is our main recourse. King County Mobile Crisis Unit did come out and contact the person, but all of their services are entirely voluntary. This person was largely nonverbal and pretty combative, so they were not able to engage with those services beyond some supplies for the evening. And then SPD came out and interfaced with them a couple of times, but at that point in time, it was pretty minor property damage, and SPD couldn't really do anything. So it did take them escalating to kind of a dangerous point. But yeah, I would say, just again, anything you see, if it's just dirty and nasty and you want to deal with, Find It, Fix It is a great place. If it's getting damaging, destructive, or scary, we've got to call 911 to start building those incident reports. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
And one of the things that I think Candace said as well, but with SPD, they do say the more calls that they get, it moves up the chain to get a response. It was really difficult. Nobody really wanted any ill will or have this person taken to jail, wanted them to get help. But anyway, if you feel like it's necessary, please call 911. Don't hesitate. One last thing before we get to the presentation from Kevin on the survey about the community center. We do have a campaign, we call it, going for Beautify Madison Park. And this committee we're meeting tomorrow afternoon. This is clearly going to be a multi-phase process to kind of spruce up, clean up. The business district is partly what we're focusing on, partly on parts of the park, and that kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about with the survey. But one little update is that I met with the owners of the pedestals, periodical boxes. Kip and I did today to see if we can eliminate some of them, or if we can at least get some of them cleaned up. And I'm happy to report there's a little bit of progress on all that process. Periodicals are not used the same way they used to be, and we have, I think altogether we have probably 14, 16 pedestals on our main street, and that adds up to over 40 periodical boxes as well. So we went through every single box today and discussed what would be done with those. So that's one small part. I don't want to focus on that too much, but we are looking into really getting the business area cleaned up, adding some planters, so we'll have some year-round color, making everything just seem fresher. We're hoping that if the neighborhood feels, that area feels cleaned up, the businesses will also have a stake in doing their part to help clean their storefronts as well. So much at the beginning stages of this. I know that there are some places like McGilver's that takes a lot of time to clean up around their place, and it's not a consistency, and we wanna really try and make it, look consistently beautiful throughout the neighborhood and inviting. So, any questions on that one?
I've said this to you before, but I wanna say it to the rest of the group. I think planters on Madison itself, there's not enough space to walk by there with people with strollers and kids and dogs and everything else. It makes it very confined to walk through there. So having additional planters on the sidewalk, I don't think that's really gonna solve much of a problem. We have enough trees there. You could do something at the trees to enhance that a little bit if you want to. But I think there's enough of that already, and I would rather not see that and add just more clutter to the area.
I hear you. So I would say that our plan is to where the trees are, along where the crepe myrtles are, is that there would be a planter underneath the tree, at the base of the tree. That's where we would be doing the containers, that's the hope. And there's a lot that needs to be kind of addressed and cleaned up, and there is a clutter, and, you know, hopefully it will make all of that work, that it doesn't, I don't think we'll be encroaching on where people are walking.
Here's a suggestion, an item called turf stone. I have it in front of my home. It's a block, and you can walk on it, you can have grass grow through that, or ivy grow through it, or whatever else there is, moss grow through it. That's a good thing, you can walk on it. But with those planters around the trees, you have limited area to walk by. If you could walk over top that and it still looks clean and tidy, that's one way to do that. You still have the space to walk on. There's room for people to put their bicycles there on the tree, or their strollers there, or their dog there at the tree, whatever else.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Oh, yes.
Should I talk about the Tuesday TED
Oh,
Talk?
yes, I'm sorry.
Now a good time?
Yes, this is
Okay.
Barbara. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Barbara Ireland, and we had our first Tuesday TED Talk this month, and it was, I thought it was a really inspiring talk about health and fitness and New Year's resolutions, and I went home with really good ideas. And the one that's coming up, it's, first of all, this Tuesday TED Talks are every month from January through May, the second Tuesday. Doors open at 6:30, the presentation starts at 7, it goes for an hour and a half. And so this one will be February 13th, and it's Sala Eckhart, and she's speaking about AI. So it's all about artificial intelligence, the scary stuff, the exciting stuff, and how you can navigate with it. So I think it's gonna be really fabulous, and if you want a little intellectual stimulation, please come.
Thank you. Yes, I jumped up, but go
All
for
right,
it, Kevin.
she sold it as a big presentation. We're gonna downplay that a little bit. So last time we got together, we talked about how we were kind of kicking off a committee to investigate, looking at, you know, re-upping this facility, maybe looking at a community center. And since then, the holidays came along, COVID came along, John and I got sick, so we didn't make a whole lot of progress. But what we do want to talk about is like what we have done. So one of the things we've been interested in is talking or looking into the Russian consulate up there. And we reached out to the community last time, said if we had any contact, that would be great to help. We got none, so we went directly to our senators. And our senator said, one says, hey, not my problem, I'm not gonna help you, and the other one gave me crickets. So that's where we are so far, just, you know, they have websites that you can kind of make submission. Again, I'm gonna make a pitch to you. If you guys have any contact that we might know that would help us get in touch with basically the State Department, who would be the one that would help us get that, please reach out to us. So, moving on. The next thing we did is we created a survey, and the intent here from our committee when we got together is, you know, we want to talk about a community center, but are there other things we want, or what do the people want? We don't want to go down a path just because, you know, John wants it. We want to make sure that the community wants it. So we created a survey. We've put it out on went out through email. It's up on the website. And so as of today, I have 39 responses, and what I'm gonna take you through on this are those 39 responses. So we have a long ways to go. We need a lot more people to give us input. But I thought it would be interesting for you to kind of hear what people are saying, give you kind of transparency into what people are thinking. The other thing I want to highlight is, again, it's a moment in time. This is from 8 this morning, so people could have put something here. This is not committal, this is just investigation. So, without further ado, the first question we put was, we initially were looking at, oh, do we want to fix the beach house or do we want to look at the beach? And we said, well, collectively, what if we wanted to change kind of this whole space from the beach house to the beach? What do you think of that idea? And as you can see, from the people that responded, 75% thought they were interested in that, and 25% said just all out no. So then we focused on the beach house itself, or the bathhouse itself. And if you look at this, we said, look, this place is a little tired, it's a little odd. Should we invest time here, money here to try to look at what we can do to change? And 94% are on board. And I think anybody stepping outside just sees work could be done on this facility. If you drill down into some of the ideas that we kind of said, hey, here's some ideas that we could do, like, the bathrooms outside, or the roof. If you look at the roof, it's, somebody mentioned about the leaks being, I think it was the gentleman there mentioned about leaks. We have a roof that probably is in need of repair, and we need to hit the city up to help us do that kind of thing. So, where these fall. And as you can see on this, my screen's a little small, but, oh, that zooms that. I was trying to highlight that as you can see, like the bathroom certainly was one of the most popular one. Anybody that's been here knows that. The roofs, people, probably because they don't think about it, was a lower priority. But anyhow, that's just kind of that. We asked on this one in particular is, would you want to basically, when you look at a community center, would you want to renovate this facility, or would you want to do a whole new structure? And people felt like, at least initially, 50% said, we should renovate this existing property. The fun thing that comes out when you start looking at some of the, what I like to call them verbatims or quotes that people actually put. So they go down and I say other, and then they offer and they type in their comment. One thing that I want to highlight was somebody wisely stated, hey, if you're going to do something, I'm on board, but you got to really think about it, and so the reason I like this is it shows that the person's actually thinking about it and is really engaged in this. And so again, my pitch to you is get out there, fill out that survey, get other people doing it. So then, one of the things we've been looking at is, okay, what about just a community center? We have a lot of places in Seattle that have different community centers. Do we need one here at Madison Park? And again, kind of a high leaning towards that people are interested in a community center for us. So some of the ideas of why they are, if you look at it, is they're looking at kind of like having a small meeting room, or maybe even like a, as they mentioned at the Martin Luther King, where you can have a small workout room, with a nice, somebody's asking for mirrored and for a bar. So you can see that there is an interest by this community of 39 that we would have a community center. And then again, here are some of the verbatims. The one I wanted to highlight here was basically a place for people to stretch, people to work out. That one, 3 different people submitted that same kind of idea. So kind of a small workout room that people could have, like you could have a yoga studio or something like that. Resonated. Okay, the next one. The other one I wanted to highlight. This is another reason I really like this survey, is because our little group, we talked about the community, we talked about the beaches, and somebody said, well, what about an outdoor meeting space? And I thought, that's a brilliant idea. So again, fill it out, give us more ideas. I really like that, that thought. So then we also wanted to talk about the different parks. We wanted to talk about North Park, we wanted to talk about the beach here, we wanted to talk about the primary Madison Park. And here we asked, do we need much work? And it's kind of 50-50 at the moment. If you look here, we were kind of highlighting the people that got the most votes are the, maybe restriping the tennis courts for pickleball. But hold your complaints, hold your complaints. If you go into the quotes, it is very interesting to note that 2 people wanted stripes and 2 people don't want stripes. So it's a nice mix of what people are kind of feeling. The people pushing back, certainly the noise, because it's a little bit louder, as well as it's already very busy with tennis, so striping for pickleball would be, even more busy. But my point is, this is great feedback. Get in there, help us get this direction. Moving for the beach, people were a little more interested in kind of cleaning up the beach. It's definitely like the interest is around landscaping. Another big thing that's coming through that I hadn't really thought about, and maybe some of you have, watering. We get a lot of dry spots on our this grassy area here. It kind of gets uncomfortable, so trying to look at improvements there. Some of the comments here that I thought were extremely interesting, which I hadn't even thought about, and Cameron, please pay attention. Security, people are a little uncomfortable around the beach, especially when it gets really crowded. They kind of complained about the marijuana and the drinking. So something for us to noodle on, not really a clean up a facility, but something to think about. And then,
We saw that one.
the graffiti was also, it was also called out that there's an issue with graffiti, and so again, Kip, pay attention. You need to think about that. And then the other comment that I thought was really interesting, because we were talking, kind of eyeballing is like, okay, we change this facility, we kind of make it, more accessible that way, and it was highlighted that, that's kind of more the adult section of the beach. So don't lose that. It also, caters to certain people, or, it's just got a little different vibe. Let's not ruin that. And I thought, again, really insightful. This kind of information is really important. And I do want to call out Kip. Kip, pay attention. We need to clean up this, and we need to beautify it. So come on, Kip, get going. And so finally, looking at the North Beach, this one again, I would say it's kind of roughly 50-50. The thing that did resonate with people was potentially making the water a little more accessible. You clearly have those rocks, it's kind of difficult. Launching kayaks is difficult. So, I suggested a T-dock because, a long time ago I was like West Side, they had the T-dock, it was awesome. That seemed to resonate with the group here. The part that I wanted to highlight on the verbatims, dog access. Now this one is interesting because, Lord, we have a lot of dogs, and I would probably hesitate for taking one of our parks because dogs can do a lot of damage, but I have a dog too, so I don't know, kind of an interesting one. It would be nice to have a dog run space, yeah.
I mean, if it's technically a beach, they're just not allowed in the water.
Down there too?
City of Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
No dogs on beaches in the city of Seattle. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Technically.
that's kind of a challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a beach if there's no access to the water?
I'm for dogs, I'm saying, if it's technically a beach in the city of Seattle, dogs are not allowed on it.
But I'm just saying, North Beach, you can't get to the water, really.
Correct, I'm saying if we added,
If we made
dog water access,
Yes.
that would potentially be a legal trip.
The other one that I really liked here, they highlighted parking, and I think that's a very valid concern. Is if we make all these improvements, more people are gonna wanna be here. And then I'm thinking, if everyone wants to be here, isn't that the right thing we want? And parking, we'll have to figure it out later, because why keep something not looking as nice just because you want to avoid the parking issue? So parking, obviously a super important issue, and I highlight it, I think it's really smart, but I also want to make this place, I want everybody to want to be here. I want to clean it up and make it look pretty. Yes, Bert?
I want us to enjoy it, not the rest of the city.
Oh, come on.
No, I want this to be Madison Park for our community.
It's like,
Friends of Madison Park. We enjoy our community, and to keep it our community, and other people can come, but not to invite everybody in the city to come here. We haven't done that in the summertime.
That's fair. And so then the last few slides are kind of interesting. So, I talked on early on, like the first one, it looked like there was a lot of people wanting that. But when we ranked all those groups and said, okay, now put them in priority order, it really just focused like, number one is let's do something with this bathhouse. Let's kind of like attack that. And then there's a community center, and I kind of like that. So the rest of the things, I'm thinking that our team, at least now, with our 39 people that care, we want to look at these areas. Again, begging and pleading, get out there and add more to it. And then quickly, one of the persons on our group is a little more responsible and said, hey, wait, we should talk about finances. So we did throw this slide in at the last minute. We know that anything that we do is going to be a monumental expense, but we want to at least talk about it. And so we asked people, like, would you be interested in helping out? And 50-50. And then we kind of gave some ideas on how you might contribute. I love the last one. My business is able to support. All 39 said no. But, again, we're still early on. We'll get people interested. We'll get them talking. I do have a call to action for you. I think I've harbored browbeat you enough, but get on the website, go fill out the survey. If you don't know how to do that, I have a QR code in the back here that take you to the survey. Please do that. Again, help me find some contact with the State Department, because that community center, Russian embassy would be awesome. And then finally, I expect, probably in the next meeting, we'll probably come back with a little more, kind of polish. Like I said, this is kind of preliminary. We're gonna put stuff together. When let's say we go back and we wanna attack the first two things, I'm gonna wanna come back with a survey and say, or a design and say, this is what we're looking at, and again, go to the community and get you guys to buy off on it, rather than, again, railroad something through. So, in a nutshell, that's where we're at, yes?
Who owns this now?
The city of Seattle owns this. It is available for rentals, so you can contact them and rent it. However, as you can see, it's really set up for basically a preschool, and the preschool loans it to us, and that's why we can't drink. If we got it from the city, you could then get a permit to drink, so.
Changing my
This
vote.
would not be like the Seattle Parks and Rec Community Center, like the Miller Community Center, am I right?
I don't know what it's going to be like.
There's Doug Baldwin has a community center called Family First in Renton, and he publicized it at a local real estate investors meetup.
Okay.
He was invited as a guest, and he did get support, and he made himself known to be doing this right now, because he's not playing football anymore. And so I feel like if we could get out and find meetup groups that, I think investor groups are great. I'm a broker, so I know how many people come to that. I feel like if we started creating energy and even just connecting with him and with these guys, if we visited the Renton Community Center and see how it works, how they kind of picked up. He's a big name. I don't know if we have a big name among us, but that would help. Okay,
Come on!
I'm sorry, this is my first meeting here. This is very exciting. I love the idea of having a community center. I just think that there's so much work to be done in terms of creating awareness, energy, like mobilizing all of that, and I'm happy to support you and work with you in meeting the Renton people if you think you want like a model or something like that.
I think that's great. I think we're open to any ideas. So just to kind of share, Octavia is to blame partly for the which one?
Oh, the Pioneer, the Washington Pioneer?
No. You came from Mount Baker.
Oh, yes.
And that is a private place. She also has reached out to, is it Queen Anne that redid there, or?
Queen Anne is not until 2026, they will be redoing their community center.
So to reiterate your point, if this is a Seattle property, it's gonna take frickin' forever to get something done. Not only do you have to negotiate with the city, they probably will put all these rules to prevent us from doing it. However, we're gonna try to work and figure out how to do something.
It needs to serve a need. Like what he did was that he said, I'm gonna serve the families, the children, it's gonna be a space for children to go after school. They don't have any supervision, and they can just come here and have a safe place. you have to find something that's really gonna be serving a need. The city says, yes, we want you, you are doing this and we need you. Otherwise, I feel like they're not gonna be as invested. It's just, yeah, hey, we wanna get together and drink.
Well,
That's a really big reason. We wanna get together
I
and
think
drink.
you're right, you know, we contacted the city, and I don't remember the person's name right now, about working with us, you know, to just do the roof, do the siding. And we're slated, the bathhouse was slated to be addressed in 10 years, was that it? Yeah, it was like 10 years out, it's like, well, that's not really gonna work. And then the other issue that had come up at some point of displacing the preschool for an after-school care situation that was open, was free. So there's several competing interests here. One of the comments that I got online, not from the survey, was, well, is that gonna move the preschool out of here? And I think one of the things that we wanna do is be able to have both, you know, I mean, either we go up, we go out, we do whatever, but, you know, the preschool is an important part of this community as well. I think whatever we do, it's gonna end up being a public-private partnership in some way. So and that happens actually more frequently in the city. And even the renovation that was done here was a public-private partnership. The Madison Park Community Council raised, I think, $90,000 to do some of the renovations in this building when they did it and the city allowed it. So I think whatever comes down the pike, it will be looking to a community that has potential funding to redo the community center. I've also been in touch with the Parks Foundation, and they are potential partners for us for raising funds and kind of proceeding the neighborhood grants. There's a lot to pursue, but I think Kevin's right. The first step is to see what the community really wants, you know, not just what.
Thank you. Thank you.
The co-op preschool is gonna be painting the co-op, this building this year, and they're gonna be having a fundraiser in the next few months to raise the money to do that painting, that should be done this year.
For the,
My job's done.
For the outside of
For
the.
the outside.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you tell us anything about McGilver School?
Well, I can't.
Is it closing? I have 4 neighbors ask me, is it closing? Find out if it's still closing.
It is not closing this year, for sure. It's not closing next year, I should say. And a couple of meetings ago, someone came from the school and spoke. Everything is always kind of up in the air.
Right.
One of the reasons that we want to sort of broaden our reach and make McGilver really part of the Madison Park community is to make the school district appreciate that it really is a key part of this community. So, no, it is not closing.
Okay.
It will be revisited, I'm guessing, every year but their enrollment is up.
Oh, that's great.
And so things are, I think.
Thank you.
very good. Anything else? Great meeting. Oh, yes.
What about Triangle Park? That's never been addressed.
Nope. Well.
I saw it mentioned, you know, but it was not really addressed. Have we talked about that? And I missed it?
Kate, you can you address that at all right now?
Sure. Well, what specifically is the question?
Will it continue to not be part of the community, but part of a restaurant?
How to cook a wolf? So those permits, the restaurant permits that were during COVID permitted in emergency situations, those are now reissued on an annual basis. So they renew every year. So How to Cook a Wolf will have to put in for a permit renewal at some point in time in 2024. During that renewal period, the community is able to reach out and, open for public comment. There is a website city of Seattle that has information. Let me try and find it. And that is probably your best bet, keeping an eye on that website, and see when their renewal is open, for, is coming up for renewal, and then.
Will the city not tell you when their renewal is coming up?
There's a spreadsheet.
The city will tell you though, obviously, they just will tell you.
There's an email address.
Next there.
Yep. Yep.
If anybody finds out, that's probably the best way, is for the community to complain about it during that renewal process.
Yeah, that's the only time it's open for public comment, because once that renewal kicks in, it's good for a year. So.
Has anybody asked them not to do it?
Just nicely?
Yeah. I mean, it's a public park, and have you gone to them and said that your neighbors don't really want you doing this anymore, and we're glad you're here, but could you not do that?
So Friends of Madison Park hasn't done anything, it seems to be, this is just a cursory assessment. It seems to be a fairly divided response from the community. Some people like it, feel that they can go in there during the day, and then in the evening it's being used in a way that it wasn't before. Some people really don't feel like it's encroaching on what is, it is a park, it's a public park. So, I think for us, one of the things, and we probably should put this on the website, one of the things we came to the conclusion with the executive committee was, let's get the information out to the public of what they want to do, and, how to reach to the city and be able to have a say. So, either way, so.
I'll get the actual URL, and we can
post it.
We can post
That
it.
would be great.
Thank you, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Really good meeting, thank you guys very much.